Oh, hey! Good morning, everybody. It's Henry. I'm Mowers and Blowers! As you guys saw from the ending of yesterday's video, I finally got rid of that Troy-built Super Bronco pony. Had a vibrating deck, which means that the spindles were probably bad, and the blades. I messed with that deck a lot, and it was not beyond repair, but it would take probably $100 to fix it. So to cut my losses, I sold it as is for $300 to this guy from Queens. He rented a U-Haul van. It was a Ford Transit, pretty big van. He said with the mileage and stuff, it would probably end up costing him only $50 to rent it for that period of time. He says he has a mechanic that he's going to drop it off to. It's out of my hands. I got rid of it. As you can see from my hoard now, I went from 18 tractors to now just 5. Well, if you count the red Yardmachines that I was going to put an engine, battery, seat on it just to get it going as a hauler, it would be 6. Plus, I do have the GT 6000 with the plow, that's 7, and my Toro Zero Turn 616Z, which is 8. Ideally, I want to get rid of everything so I can get my yard back, you know what I mean? My dethatcher from Greenworks is coming, I believe, tomorrow. And then an update on my Mantis. Quick update on my Murray. So as you guys know, I buttoned this up yesterday, right? Ideally, it needs new blades, which I don't have, and also it could use brake adjustment. But honestly, runs, drives, mows, starts, all that without any issues, really. So I'm just going to sell that as is. I listed it for $375, and I had about 36 replies over the 3 platforms of Let Go, Craigslist, and Facebook Marketplace. A lot of people want it delivered. While delivery is kind of a pain in the butt for me, if they'll give me $100 for delivery fee, it's kind of worth it, you know. Since I have a van that has the winch and the ramps, it's easy for me to do, you know. So my friend Larry of Larry and Bob says, "No, man, you got to raise the price. 300 something is too cheap. You got to take 400 minimum." So I actually raised the price to $425, $50 more, just because at $375 people are already lowballing me. Ooh, Boba's learning how to poo in the backyard. Awesome. That's less walks, you know, in the rain and stuff. Anyway, so yesterday also you saw I was working on that Mantis rototiller cultivator. I finally looked at the model number, and it's an SV4B. Wait, yeah, there it is. SV4B. While I looked on eBay, there was lots of magnetos, which is what I think I need, right? There was a lot of magnetos, and they're all like $12, you know, cheap, right? However, when I actually looked up SV4B, there was only 3 magnetos that fit that one. And I noticed that it looked different from the $12 ones. Anyway, the SV4B magnetos are $71, $78, and $138. So that's out of control, right? That's too expensive. I compared the $12 one and the $100 one. And the $12 ones, the holes look different at a different angle, you know, to mount. And also it looks thicker than the one that I need. So I don't want to buy one for $12 just to see that it definitely doesn't fit. I mean, you can eyeball it and see that it probably doesn't fit. So unless a miracle happens and I find the exact same magneto somewhere used, you know what I mean? I'm probably not going to fix that Mantis because I'm not going to spend $70 on a magneto to maybe see if it runs. You know what I mean? Which is a shame because I actually kind of need that exact thing right now to loosen up my dirt in the backyard. You know, because after I get my Greenworks dethatcher, I'm going to want to mow it, dethatch it, And then in the compacted bald spots, use the cultivator and kind of loosen up the soil as I did in the front yard. But that front yard took me all day, back-breaking work, you know what I mean? Work smart, not hard. I didn't really work smart because I didn't have a cultivator. People were saying that, oh, Henry, you shouldn't have sold your plug aerator. But a plug aerator is not a cultivator. I've already plug aerated my lawn twice, you know? And all it does is lift up these big plugs of dirt on the top, and that's why my lawn is so muddy, is because all the dirt is on top, you know? That's the only reason why it's muddy. And of course, I'm a guy that has 1,000 lawn tractors riding around the yard, compacting the soil back onto it again. So I think it just needs a little loosening up, you know? We've been getting a lot of rain. As a matter of fact, it's going to pour today right now. Anyway, so as you know, I was going to go and get started on putting that spare Murray turd engine on there, the 14.5, and put it in here, right? Yesterday, when you guys weren't looking, that's right, you turned around and, what's Henry doing, you know? I couldn't stand it. I mean, I was just in the garage doing something, and I decided to start messing with the seat. So I got the Murray seat on there, and I installed a battery, too. So now all I have to do is get the engine in here and look underneath, see if it needs belts and all that stuff. Yesterday I put ATF in these tires. Awesome. Both tires holding air overnight from the ATF. So this morning when I was sleeping, yes, I woke up late again. The guy that I sold my second LT1000 about 2 months ago, right? He was the guy that had he's a contractor. He was working on somebody's yard, whatever, right? He was cutting down a tree. The tree fell on the owner's CRAFTSMAN lawnmower. It was like a Cube or LT4000, an older one, you know, and completely wrecked the hood, right? And bent the front axle. And so the owner was not going to pay the contractor for his work that he's doing on the house until he replaced his lawn tractor, which is kind of understandable, which is why you only contract contractors that are insured, right? It's like, oh, insurance will pay for it. Oh, well, I don't think I'm insured, or it won't cover the tree falling on the tractor, you know? So the guy, his name is Nick, right? He said that he had to go buy the owner a new tractor that works. It doesn't have to be elaborate, doesn't have to be new, it just has to replace the one that he had. So that's why he bought my LT1000. I think he bought the LT1000 with the timing one, you know, with the nail in the flywheel. Hey, it runs great. And so he texted me this morning saying, hey, it's Nick. Remember, you sold me a mower a couple of months ago? And I'm thinking to myself, here we go. He thinks I'm Lowe's or Home Depot. Something happened to the tractor, and now he wants a refund or something like that, or it's going to be a hassle, you know what I mean? Or he wants me to go and fix it or something, you know? And as the guy that I am, I don't shy away from anything. So I'm just like, yeah, I remember. So he's like, hey, I'm working on this other guy's house. The owner says he wants this out. You want it? And I'm like, for free? He's like, yeah, for free. It's in Dix Hills, which is just the next town over. So it's not far. Free. This is the text that he texted me. A John Deere E100. Yes, the John Deere E100 is your typical Lowe's Home Depot model, you know, stamped metal, made just for Home Depot or Lowe's, just to make money, you know. It's probably not the best condition John Deere that they make, you know what I mean? But it's free. That's right, free. And if it's free, it's for me. So I'm going to go and pick it up with my van. I'm going to hold off on installing the engine on here because maybe this John Deere needs an engine. And that John Deere is definitely more complete than this, right? If that engine does need fixing, maybe I'll fix it and put it in here or put it back. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what happens first when I get the John Deere. That is, if I get it. I should be able to get it. I mean, I have that other engine with 75 psi, the one where I grinded down the valves. I could just go buy another intake valve, and maybe get that fixed, I already have an exhaust valve to replace it. I was also thinking that because I grinded the intake valve so much, right, it's only off by a little bit, What if I took one of those caps, those metal caps that go usually on top of the valve stem that the rocker arm hits, right? Those little caps. What if I put the cap on the part that I grinded down? Wouldn't that make up the room that I grinded it down, right? It's kind of a cool idea, right? Henry, it's too thick. Yeah, I thought it might be too thick, but I could just grind the cap down a little bit with a file, Can be done. Makes sense. You just have to fill that space, right? And that cap belongs inside there anyway. You know what I mean? So with the heat and all that stuff, I don't think that would be an issue. But that's me. For now, I'm open to ideas on the Mantis because I kind of need that Mantis to work. Do you think I could put a lawnmower quantum engine on there because it's vertical shaft? Do you think that would work, or is that too heavy? Would I have to make supporting wheels on the side to support the weight? Or, you remember that CRAFTSMAN single-stage snowblower, the green one that Jason gave me, and then he gave me the chute and we put it on, and thing starts up like nothing, Think about this for a second. What if I took the auger off, or cut the auger off, leaving the spinning axle, and then take the 4 tine wheels off the Mantis, right? Weld it on there. The diameter of the Mantis tines, the spike tines, are going to be slightly bigger in diameter than the auger rotation, right? So as a result, the bottom part, the tines are going to stick out a couple of inches. That's perfect for me to grind my thing, and it rotates. What do you think of that project, huh? I was going through my head last night. I couldn't sleep. That's why I woke up so late. What an idea. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. I don't think anybody's ever done that before. Put cultivator rototiller tines, spike tines, on a single stage snowblower. I would have to take the chute off, unless you wanted to spew the dirt out the chute, and then seal it somehow with some kind of sheet metal. And that's a project and all that stuff. Henry, why don't you just go and buy one, right? Why should I buy one? I'm a small engine guy. I'm a flipper. I'll pick up something like that. You know what I mean? That's why I never go out and buy something. Oh, yeah, I did go buy the dethatcher. Well, I was intrigued by it. You know what I mean? Anyway, I am off to go pick up that John Deere E100 for free. So you guys saw that, huh? Pretty cool. So this thing was like all the way in the back, right? They have a shed over there. It's parked in the corner near this tree. It looks like it hasn't moved in 10 years. Flywheel was all rusted shut. Steering sector was all messed up, right? I couldn't even steer it at all. It was just seized solid, I just worked it back and forth. I didn't have any penetrating oil. I didn't think I needed it, but it's been sitting there for a long time, okay? It hasn't moved, and all 4 tires were flat completely, right? And it was like sunk into the ground. So luckily I brought my foot pump with me, and I just slowly pumped all 4 tires up. They seem like they hold air. When I opened the hood to look at the cover, it's a 17.5 Intech Briggs, right? The top engine cover was off already, so it looked like the owner tried to figure out why it wouldn't start. Mouse nest in there, and as I lifted up the cover, a little mouse just ran by. Eek! It was cute. Anyway, I made sure that there's no mice in here before I mean, they wouldn't stay there alive, moving around and stuff like that. They'd jet, So I managed to loosen up the steering a little bit, and it managed to turn. I think it just needs some oil and grease and stuff, and it'll be okay. Tires hold there, like I said. Engine looks like it's seized up, but it's mostly from rust. I think the flywheel's not turning only because the magneto is so rusted to hell that it's fused onto the flywheel. You guys know what I mean, right? Other than that, it has a battery in it. It has been disconnected from the terminals. So, hey, at least that's a core exchange, you know. That's $5 right there, right? Seat's in decent condition, you know, for a John Deere seat. You know, it's only cracked in maybe 2 little small places along the side. That's easily fixable. Maybe I'll go buy some Gorilla Tape that's yellow. Anyway, so, I mean, I didn't see any obvious signs of the engine blown or anything like that. 17.5s, though, I've seen a lot of blown ones, you know. But anyway, it really wasn't all that tough. I mean, it was just pushing it, you know, and I'm used to pushing tractors, you know what I mean? And pumping up the tires and loosening up the steering to get it into the van. But I was thinking about asking the owner if I could back the van all the way up to the tractor, but, you know, I mean, if it didn't roll, then I would ask, you know, but it rolled, so, you know, I don't want to bother them about it. You know, I'm happy to just be able to get it for free, you know what I mean? So, we loaded that up, and, yeah, it's kind of cool. So I'm going back home now. So I'm back home now, and this project here is gonna have to go on the back burner because I can't install the engine in here because I may need that engine for that one, right? Just don't know. So I'm gonna have to clear out my garage a little bit, push this in the back of the garage, and then get that John Deere up front and center. So unloaded it, no problem. You guys could tell, right? It's been outside for a number of years. Surprised the tires still hold air. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. This is an L100 5-speed. Hood's in good shape. It'll clean up nice. Got that muffler guard. Wonder if the lights work. Tires are okay, actually. Deck looks okay too, actually. That's a bonus. It's a 42. Like I said, it's a 17.5 Intech engine. Hey, that's still good. John Deere's don't have a label here. It's usually the left rear right there. GXL 100A 103628. So manufacturer is February 24th 2004. So it's still a 16-year-old tractor. That's unbelievable, huh? Rusty, dirty, but not too bad. Nothing that a little penetrating oil won't fix and start loosening things up, right? Let's check out the gas. Gas cap is loose, very loose. Holy cow. A lot of fuel in there still with black stuff in there. Maybe it's the inner cap that usually goes bad and on the bottom. I need one of those claw things. You know those claw things? It's like a wire with a pulling thing, and then you got like this metal claw that grabs. I think you get it from Harbor Freight, but I haven't been there in a while. I need to grab one of those. There's so many instances where I need that thing to grab stuff out, you know? Okay, you guys ready to check out the engine compartment? Let's do this. Spring loaded on the hood, as they usually are. So before, when I was pumping air, you saw in the time lapse, I was pumping air into the tires, right? It made it roll much better, because before I couldn't even budge it, you know? You could tell that a mouse was in here for sure. Fuel solenoid. This is a Walbro carburetor, original. Fuel line is very stiff. Fuel pump. Fuel filter. It's got a battery in it. It's just a bonus. So anyway, when I came over here and I lifted this up for the very first time, right, I saw that there was nuts and stuff, so I knew that there was going to be a mouse nest in here, right? Obviously somebody had taken this apart already, because it was just loose like that. And then once I lifted this up, right, a little brown furry mouse just ran this way and out that way. I should be startled, but I wasn't, believe it or not. A little bit though. But I just didn't want to bring any more mice into my area, you know what I mean? Because I've lived here for 20 years. I've never seen a mouse in my area, ever. So I didn't want to bring mice into the area. So I'm pretty sure that when I was moving this around, if there was any live mice in here, they would have skadoodled. Skadoodled? Anyway, so check this out. See what I'm saying here? This is so rusted, right, that it's fused onto the flywheel. That's why the flywheel doesn't turn. Let's check the Earl. Eh? What do you guys think? You guys think that there'll be Earl in it? I think there'll be Earl in it. I think it'll be Black Earl. Let's see. Oh, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Actually, not bad at all. Yeah, it's good. Smells a little like gas. So there might be some gas in there, but that's good. Fuse, solenoid, battery terminals. This battery is an actual John Deere battery, so possibly this could be the original one, you know, from 2004. It's possible. It's a cheap one, 160 cranking amps. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push this into the... Actually, should I blow it out a little bit with my blower, just so that stuff is not in there? I think I should do that. So let me fire up the blower and see if we can just blow this clean a little bit. closer. It's good enough for now. Giving you guys a good look here. My battery's about to die. That's right, this new camera that I have doesn't hold a charge as well as the other one. But I have to do what I have to do, you know. When I go and charge this, I'm going to take the spark plug out and put some penetrating oil in there, as well as the steering gear so it steers a little better. And I'm just going to oil everything that I think needs to be oiled. Then I'm going to probably take this top cover off, right, and get rid of that mouse nest that's in there, right? And then put a, I'm going to take the magneto off too, because that is hindering the flywheel to move, right? So then I'm going to take a socket with a breaker bar and try to free up the motor. So when this is charged and we come back to filming, hopefully that flywheel will turn. Maybe I might have to change the flywheel, because look at it. It's like rusted to heck. But all the wires look intact, and I have to find another magneto, you know? So that's what I'll do. See you guys in a bit. Starting to loosen up on its own just from turning it. It's grinding down the rust around the sector leaders. I'm pretty stoked. It's okay. I probably wouldn't have picked it up if it wasn't a John Deere. Who am I kidding? Sure I would. Okay, fellas. I've been busy. And I'll tell you after I tell you this first. So, UPS came, brought me my Greenworks 14-inch electric dethatcher. I'm going to unbox this tomorrow and put it together and try it, as long as the weather's nice. In addition, that's right, FedEx came and delivered my Harbor Freight tools, ramps. I wonder if I'm missing anything. If I am missing something, there'll be hell to pay, I tell you. Hell to pay. Alright, so anyway, first thing I did, took the spark plug out, right, and flooded it with penetrating oil from my friends over at Mantis Oil Products. Took it right out of there. All right. Then I attempted to take the... I attempted to turn the flywheel. Would not budge. I was turning the crankshaft bolt. It was moving, you know? But the crankshaft, the flywheel was not moving, no matter what I did. So I loosened the bottom double stack pulley, took the bolt out, but it's not budging. It's not coming off at all. So I just put the brake on, right? Put the brake on, which loosens the drive belt on the very top, right? And I felt it, and it was moving freely. So, as well as the mower deck belt is also moving freely. It's not seized onto the pulley. So this pulley is free from the two belts, okay? So it should turn freely, right? If you look at the stator, check out the stator. Stator's trashed. I mean, just rusted to heck, you know? While the coils look good. It's kind of had some trauma. Know what I mean? Also, look at the wire. This is not a dual circuit stator because it's missing a wire, unless it is a dual circuit stator and it's missing the wire. But it looks like it's just one wire going into the voltage regulator. So I believe this might be a 10/16 amp stator, which it's a shame it's busted like this because it's worth something. Alright, so here's my hurt. I am in a world of hurt. That magneto would not come off. I mean, it just wouldn't come off. The bolts are stripped and rusted to almost nothing. So I had to cut the top part off, cut the top bolts off, right? And managed to wiggle it off, leaving the stems still there. I've been using penetrating oil to, not that it does anything because it's basically fused onto the posts, you know. So listen, if I can't get this on, right, I'm pretty much screwed, you know, unless I put on a new magneto and just like tack weld it on there. I mean, should I try to turn these with like a vice grip or channel locks to try to get those two posts off, you know, the two screws off? I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, I'm lucky to even have that sticking up like that, you know. I guess I should try, right? If anything, I should try. So that's a pickle, right? So while I was doing that, I'm charging the battery, you know, multitasking, right? While it's sitting there, might as well charge the battery, see if it holds a charge. Like I said, loosen up the two belts on the bottom. And then I put and I took the flywheel off, right? Did it the Taro way with a sledgehammer and a crowbar. It had massive buildup right around here, you could tell. You could still tell that I can't even get it off. Massive buildup of rust all along here. I don't know why. I guess there's a pool of water or something. It's been sitting there for years. Magnets I needed to clean and used my DeWalt drill with a bristle thingamajig on there and clean the inner parts of the magnet. There's still some pieces of magnet that you can feel that's stuck on there, right? Powdery. Clean the inside here. And just went all along here, massive amounts of rust. See? If you look at the flywheel also, the teeth are like very rusted too. Over here it's okay. But over here it almost seems rounded off. I had to sort of grind it, you know? I think I could probably save this flywheel. I mean, I'm going to try to use it, you know? I know that stator is probably not going to work. So I blew so much penetrating oil in there. Loosened up the bottom. Got the 15/16 socket onto the bolt, right? And I was just working it back and forth slowly. You didn't want to go too fast, right? And look what happened. And it's got compression. But you can hear inside the rings are scraping against the cylinder wall because of a lack of lubrication or rust buildup. So I'm just going to move it slowly back and forth, right? It's pretty smooth now, actually. I'm going to do this a while and keep oiling the cylinder wall with penetrating oil. As a matter of fact, I'm going to stick a screwdriver in here and make sure that it's all the way down. I'm using my knee to hold it. Okay, you see, pushes out. So you know the connecting rod is connected, which is great news. Okay. Okay, so that's all the way in. So that the cylinder wall is, the piston is all the way on the bottom, so that I can cover the cylinder wall and flood it with some penetrating oil. And then continue to turn this a little bit. Yeah, see, it's kind of quieting down when you get to around that area. But how about that? Connecting rod is still attached, right? Loosened it up, so now that it moves freely. My biggest hurdle, I think, if I want to save this engine, right, is that I gotta find a way to get those two studs out of there, okay? And I'm gonna stop right now because I've done enough to this, and this, of course, was a completely unplanned project, right? When I woke up today, I thought I was gonna put an engine on that, but the circumstances permit that I have a new project, you know? The L100 John Deere that I got for free today. Free! And while it is rough, I believe that we can get this going because I have an engine for it, right? While I'd like to put that engine on there, I want to try to save this engine. And I think I could do it as long as I can figure out if I can get those studs out of that, the two posts for the magneto. And I would need a new stator, I believe. I don't know if I have another 10/16 amp stator. I only have dual circuit ones. I think I could save the flywheel. So essentially all we need is to extract those two screws in the posts. Then I could put a magneto on there. I could put a stator on there. I could connect the fuel pump, voltage regulator, clean the carb, charge the battery, and maybe this thing will fire up and run. Who knows, right? Man, I've got so much to do. I've got this project, got that project. I gotta sell my ramps or return them. I have to do a video on the Greenworks dethatcher because now that's one episode right there. That's a whole day because even though I unbox it and put it together, I want to use it. I'm going to go to the backyard and dethatch my entire rear lawn. That'll take all day, you know? If it's a nice day tomorrow, that's what I'll do. If it's not a nice day tomorrow, we'll continue with the John Deere. Just another basic adventure over here at Mowers and Blowers. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.